From 1987, but still sounding great. That's Aztec Camera, BBC Radio Scotland, 10 minutes after 10 on a Monday morning. As the Edinburgh Festival Fringe draws to a close, the world of comedy has changed dramatically in recent years. Not so long ago, all-male panel shows were the norm. Now there's much greater diversity. However, one group of people are still trying to break down barriers, and leading the charge is comedian Lorelei Mathias, who joins me now this morning. And get your name right, that would be a start, wouldn't it? Lorelei, morning.
Morning, thank you. Yeah,
Nice
I know,
to
it's the
speak
most
to you.
annoying name in the world. Don't worry.
On a Monday morning, no, it's not. When you describe yourself as a neurodiverse writer and performer, what do you understand by that?
So everyone's experience is different, but the word neurodiverse just is an umbrella term for a different brain types, from dyslexic to autistic to ADHD. I'm personally, my experience is I'm a cocktail of mostly ADHD, a bit of dyspraxia, and some mild autism, dyscalculia, definitely dyscalculia. I used to cry over my maths homework, and now it makes sense why. But to illustrate my dyspraxia, I get tangled up very easily in cables and all sorts of things, because I have my phone on a lead so that I don't lose it, and then it gets all tangled up. The other day, I was leaving the BBC building and I got my foot stuck in the revolving door. And then I was like so embarrassed, but then I realised maybe it was a metaphor for I finally got my foot in the door at the BBC.
You see, this has given you all this good material as a comedian. So do you see it, this kind of cocktail that you've described, is it a bit of a superpower as far as you're concerned?
I wish it was, but it is when harnessed and when understood by the world and the world around me. But I would say 90% of the time, for me, it's a disability. I'm very held back by it. I think everyone has what I see as more like a sort of a Pantone, you know, like the colour charts you get, Pantone, CMYK. I think everyone, even neurotypical people in speech marks, neurotypical, I think it's not that helpful to think of us and them. I think it's more everyone's different shades. So my shade of neurodiversity is made up of those things, but I think everyone's got different mixtures in, so whether it's a cocktail or it's a Pantone chart, a thing I have, my superpower is ability to see comparisons and metaphors all the time. And then the minute I started on one metaphor, I've jumped into another one, as you've just seen.
But that's good in comedy, and that's what people want from comedy, especially nowadays. But you've got to get into the world of comedy in the first place. How hard for you was it for you to break in, given what you've described to us this morning?
Yeah, I mean, it's very, I think it's become a cliche lately that lots of people have got ADHD, but I think my definition of it is, do you have it to the degree that your life is debilitatingly hard? And I think everyone can have it a little bit, but where it becomes unmanageable and you're like called into you're at the floor of a supermarket, paralyzed with indecision, and you can't do anything. That's when I say you need to go and get medical help and get therapy, get medication. So I'd say that it holds you back in daily life doing practical things, but in terms of career, I think if you're brave enough to stand on the stage and do stand-up, I don't think it holds you back that much. I think it's an absolute asset. And I actually met Roy Bremner at the Edinburgh Festival last year because I left a bag of carrots in the cloakroom at the TV festival, and he'd lost his phone on the train, and we were both tweeting about these disastrous days we'd had, and we ended up meeting up. And he definitely said to me that for him it's a skill, being able to see connections on stage and be very quick